I have a question for men. I feel like a lot of men are no longer interested in dating. They give up on dating. They're not even trying. Why do you guys think that is the case?
I actually admire how strategic and planned out a man is. Nothing, almost nothing that they do is a coincidence or happening by chance or like everything they do, they thought about it, it's been planned out. So that man watching your stories and then it leads to now he's liking your stories. That was his plan. He chose today, after 3 weeks of following you, to like your story today. Then a couple more days go by, he's going to start responding to your stories. It's all planned out. Then, he responds to your stories. Now you think he's interested. So now you're interested too. Now you're liking his stories and responding to his stories. Next, he's going to up the ante. He's going to start sending you reels and funny memes about things that he saw you post. So he knows what you like. Like, men really eat when it comes to that. Y'all ate with that one. And here we are in the group chat like, girl, he liked my story. He sent me a video. All geeked out. Eee! He planned that. And he's in his group chat like, I got her. I got her, fellas. Let's wheel her in. It's all planned out. That is just so.
The problem is that y'all been dating bums for too long. So you make the mistake of thinking that a man that's actually high value isn't paying attention to you and you can just continue doing whatever foolishness you was doing until you find out the contrary.
She asked me, will you make a fake profile, like as a guy, and then like swipe through and see if you come across my profile? So I'm like, yeah, girl, I got you. So I make a fake profile. Now I'm pretending to be some man and I'm swiping through all the women to find my friend. Y'all, when I tell you I was swiping 10 after 10 after 10 after 10, like gorgeous woman after gorgeous woman after gorgeous woman, all of them with very well thought out profiles, all of them with hobbies and interests, who want long-term committed relationships, all of them who are like clearly putting a lot of effort into this. And like I couldn't run out of options. It seemed like no matter how many times I swiped, there was always another 10 waiting for me. And it just made me think, like, if this is what it's like for them, I'm seeing why partially they don't take women that they meet on dating apps that seriously. Because like, if I match with this girl and she's not immediately what I want her to be, she's not vibing with what I'm vibing with, I ask her if I can come over at 10 o'clock at night and she don't want to do it, I'm just gonna get back on the apps and find somebody that will. Like, just swipe one more time and you'll find somebody.
All right, so she had her stitches turned off. I'm sorry, babe, respectfully, what planet are you living on that all men have better options than women on dating apps?
Literally no data to back that, just talking. Somebody else in the comments asked a good question. How many of those people matched? Did anybody ever like that person back? We never hear about that. Come on, guys.
I saw a comment that said, every girl wants a Spider-Man, but they walk right past a Peter Parker. You stupid poetic bitch. You think of some shit like that.
My girlfriend's on all these Facebook forums, these women forums, where they just kind of all rag about either a guy they're dating or the guy they're married to or a guy they like or a guy they're divorcing or whatever. They just, that's the forum. And this one gal on there told a story about how her boyfriend for Christmas or her birthday bought her some wine glasses and they were like custom painted. And he's told her that he painted them. He's like, I painted them. She's like, how'd you learn how to paint a wine glass? He said, I took a class a long time ago and I learned how to do it. So then I just took the time to buy these wine glasses and I painted them for you. Here you go. And she's like, they're awesome. She did not believe him. She asked him like 5 more times over the course of a month, did you really paint these? Like, yeah, I painted them. Yeah, relax, I painted them. A little time passes. She goes online, starts searching for these glasses, finds them. They're identical. Clearly, he did not paint them. And then she goes to him and she's like, what the f is this? And he's like, oh, yeah, I didn't paint them. I made that up. And then she goes on the forum and asks all these women, like, should I break up with this man for lying to me. And then she turned to me and she's like, what do you think if you were a guy and a girl did that? And I said, if I was a guy and a girl told me she painted some glasses, I would never follow up. I would be like, thanks, they're cool. And I would never, ever, ever follow up. I wouldn't ask her again 5 times. I certainly wouldn't Google wine glasses in the middle of the night while she was sleeping. And if I found out they were fake, I wouldn't even bring it to her attention. I'd just be like, oh, she must really want to impress me. We don't care about the shit you guys care about. So stop asking us what we would do in your situation, because we just don't care. You want to lie to me about you want to buy me a jacket and tell me you knitted it? Hey, dude, I'll tell all my friends my girl knitted this, bro. It's awesome. We don't care. And you know what my buddies will say? Cool, man. Because they don't care either. Because none of us care about that silly shit.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have lied about something like that. I think maybe he was trying to impress her. I would have probably said something like, yeah, I saw him online, thought you might have liked him, so here you go. Merry Christmas, love you, or something like that. But I don't think if my wife would have bought me something like that, I would have followed up on it. I'd have just thought it was a nice gesture and I'd have been impressed.
You know, if there's one thing that TikTok has taught me, is that when one person has their personal story to tell, there's a million other mean girls who have something to say as well. Going down the whole doormat mom drama really made me realize how low accountability women have for themselves. They want to blame it all on the next person. They want to blame it all on their mom or their dad. They want to blame it all on their exes, but they never want to take accountability. Coming from a woman who was a depressed teenager who made her parents' lives miserable and also had a 20-year-old daughter who made my life miserable for a short time, what goes around comes around. Get used to it. When you're sitting here talking about your trauma and your drama and all the pink tote, just remember what all you put your parents through. Yeah. And you're still just a mean girl.
That's really it. These modern women don't understand accountability and responsibility. That's crazy.
They have Tinder in real life, dude. You're walking down the sidewalk down the street and somebody's walking toward you. They're attractive. You guys are making eye contact. When you pass, if you both turn around and look at each other, that's a match. Feel free to start a conversation.
Men are useless, so they create problems to feel useful in the same way that they personified God as a man to make themselves feel important. I just went to go see the movie Wicked, and the theater wasn't super crowded, but then an older couple came and walked up to sit in our row. The woman explicitly asked her husband, may I sit in the aisle seat in case I need to go to the bathroom? I can easily get out and I won't have to climb over you. He goes, no, I got you that seat, pointing to the non-aisle seat. I go, okay, that was weird. Didn't say anything, just kind of looked over and glared, of course, because I'm like, weirdo. Midway through the movie, the woman goes, I need to go to the bathroom. She climbs over. She's old. She's an older woman. Mobility issues. Climbs over her husband. And he's like, oh, here, darling, let me help you.
I think this is the problem with some women creating entire storylines in their head. I mean, how do you know that man didn't also think that he needed to use the bathroom at some point and he wanted the aisle seat? And the fact is that he got the tickets, obviously, because he said, that's the seat I got for you. So he's the one that went and purchased them. He's the one that planned it. But that is besides the point, because the point is that what you've said is such a reach. It is such a reach to say that men are useless and they try to create problems in order to feel useful. I'm standing in a newly built house that I saw no women at the construction site of. I have seen no women, 0 women with a hard hat on at any of these homes that are being built next to mine. So yeah, keep saying that men are useless. Who's built the roof over your head? And maybe you just rent, maybe you have an apartment, but somebody built the building. Somebody owns the property. Waiting for the response. Let's hear it.
Exactly. And there was somebody in the comments that said what I think a lot of men are thinking. It's a protection thing. He put himself in the most direct line of fire while giving his companion more of an opportunity to protect herself. That's called love. What are you talking about? Get off.
My future wife is never going on a girls trip to Nashville because y'all are a bunch of cheaters. Y'all cheat. If you were from Iowa and you sent your wives on a girls trip and they're resource officers at a high school, they're cheaters. Now let me tell you a story. So I'm in Nashville. I was playing Whiskey Jam, played the guitar. and we're out on Broadway with some of our friends, and we're at Kid Rocks. I hope you guys see this. You guys are a bunch of cheaters. And so this girl comes walking over, and she's like trying to dance with my friends, and they point to me. They're like, "That's the guy that'll dance," because I love to dance. I love to just have a good time. And so I'm like, yeah, sure. So we're just kind of vibing, and she like grabbed my hand, and I see she's got a ring on, and so I'm like, "Whoa, you got a ring on." She goes, "Don't worry about it." And I said, what? Yes, I'm gonna worry about it. That's what? And so she's like, "It doesn't even matter. He's not here." I'm like, "Whoa, lady, you're psycho. You're literally a psychopath. Hang on. I have well, I shouldn't put the video in. I have a video of her hitting up other dudes." And so after they like danced, and after they came up to us, and they were telling those guys how they don't even care that they're married, and they're just like, "We're here for the weekend. Like, if my husband was here, he wouldn't even do anything about it because he's I don't think I should say this on TikTok. He's like a PUSSY kind of, he wouldn't even do anything about it." So one of the other girls goes up to a guy that I was friends with and was like, "Let's just get a hotel room tonight. Like, it's only like $100, get a room, blah, blah, blah." She didn't have a ring on. Her friend comes over and goes, "She's married and she took her ring off before she came out, by the way." And so I texted him because they were like walking over to Cane's. I'm like, bro. And so he lit up. He was so mad and like kicked him out. Like, we ditched him, blah, blah, blah. The saddest thing is it was so easy for them to do. They don't know us. They have no idea who we are. They came up to us, initiated it. And like you could tell it wasn't their first time. First of all, it was way too easy for them for that to be their first time ever trying to get with people on a girls trip. That there's probably dudes out there that would do it. And I know you guys are cheaters. Listen, if you sent your wife on a girls trip and they're resource officers at a high school, they're a cheater. I have a video of them hitting on some guys. I just don't think I should post it.
You got a bunch of women in the comments from Iowa saying, "Give us the tea. Spill all of it. Tell us exactly who these women are." And there was actually one woman that said, "Good for you for sharing." I've got to applaud him.
And as many as 40 homes will have to be torn down. Please don't. Top right says President Hero.
A nice house, watching the news, him chilling, peaceful. What more could you want?
Can we have a moment of silence for the woman who had no booty and no chest, who ghosted me after our first date? So this woman was in my DMs for weeks trying to hang out with me, go on a date, and I finally gave in. I really haven't been in the dating mood. I've just really wanted to be in the house with the weather being cold, but I finally gave in. We went to go get dinner. I thought it was a really good experience. The conversation was great. She looked all right, even though her physical features weren't the best, but it is what it is. So we finally get back. She says she wants to go out again. She wants to go to Mastro's. I'm always down for a medium steak. Cool. I text her. It's been a week now. She hasn't texted me back. Do you see how some of you are just infuriated with me right now and you're questioning why I had to be rude and why I had to judge her for her genetics on something she can't control? Then why do you guys always want to try to bash men in y'all dating recaps when all you had to say was the date didn't go as well as you thought it did and you really don't know how he felt about you? With all due respect, a lot of you would hate if men start doing a dating recap and then they came on here and said, I didn't like her because her makeup wasn't blended well. Do you see us doing that? No. And guess what? That's something you can actually control. So stop trying to come on this app and bash men for genetics and or their height because it's not as cute as you really think it is. Do better.
I already knew where you was going with it, bro, and I applaud you. Keep on doing this. These modern women need to hear exactly how dumb they sound.
This is your common sense dating coach, and this is dating advice that you don't want, but you need to hear. Also, I want to introduce a new guest that'll be making an appearance. This is Barbara Streisand, and she's new. Learn to start reassessing your values because some of you guys' values aren't values at all. I'm going to start with the biggest misconception of a value that I see all the time, which is money. Some people are so poor in life that all that they have is money. If that is all that you want or have to offer, it does not make you a high value woman or a high value man. It makes you a person that lacks true values. Money is a preference, not a value. And I know you guys are going to be in the comments being like, well, love is not enough. I never said it was. I know that. But a lot of you are hung up on how much money you have or how much money you want someone else to have. Your value should be spiritual health, mental health, and how you treat others. If money is a top priority in a relationship for you, I hate to break it to you, but it just shows me that you lack purpose. Gain a purpose and the money and the lifestyle will follow. And it might not look anything as you imagined it. And I know that sounds scary, but I promise you will be truly happy once you start living according to your purpose. Now let's talk to the girlies a little bit. If money is what you seek out of a man, I promise you he already knows what you're doing. Just because that man makes a lot of money and decides to spend it on you does not make his actions any less bare minimum than the next guy. Just because you require a man to buy your time does not mean you have high standards or a high value. It makes you quite literally the opposite. Easy and low effort. You're just easy to a different type of guy. So you're not being hard to get. He still got what he wanted and he didn't have to work that hard for it. Now, if you consider yourself the stubborn girl or the hard to get girl, let me tell you something real quick. You will not keep a man, any man of any caliber, if you lack intellectual intimacy and a willingness to learn. Because yes, men are visual creatures. They love the chase. You know, it's part of the game. It's fun. Because in order to grow a continuously happy and exciting relationship, you need to be able to embrace growth and change to keep your partner stimulated. Because sure, your beauty might get you there, but I promise you your brains and your character is what's going to keep you there. Last thing I'm going to say is your insecurities and your trauma are for you and you only to handle. If your partner wants to help you through that, that's awesome. That's probably the person you're supposed to be with. But a lot of you will put your issues on other people involuntarily, which only tells me that you could have good boundaries for yourself, but you do not respect other people's boundaries. And that's just wrong.
I appreciate you saying this, and I appreciate you addressing the men as well in the way that you did. And a lot of men that I know will take responsibility and accountability, say, man, I shouldn't have done that, right? And for addressing our younger ladies and really women in any age range and age category, because I think it shifts through all different categories, age ranges, I should say. You have to be able to take accountability. Even if we put 50% on the man, even if we put 90% on the man, modern women don't want to take accountability for anything, not even 10%, not even 5%, not even 1%. And even when they start to take accountability, they be like, yeah, even that 1%, I wouldn't have done that if he didn't, right? So start taking accountability for the things that you do, for the men that you be choosing. Well, he had money, I thought. You did not vet that man properly. Just say that and get on out the way. Modern women logic.
What's your best piece of dating advice?
And your hormones confuse things. Always go with your gut.
Just what's your best piece of dating advice?
You may think you know what you want, but you don't. So go on dates you normally wouldn't go on.
Sorry, give me your best dating advice.
Don't worry about the short term. Think about the long term and have patience.
Grandma, what's your best piece of dating advice?
Take your time.
Hey, Mom, what's your best piece of dating advice?
Early signals tell who the person is, so be aware and look for the good signals that you see.
Amen.
It's pretty cool, man. Not a lot of modern women do this these days. Actually asking for help.
How old are you?
34.
At 34, have you ever been married before?
I have.
And how long was your marriage?
8 years.
Now, why throw it away after investing so much time?
Because at one point you realize that it's time to let it go. Because you have only one life and you have to respect somebody else's also decisions.
What made you realize that it had to end?
It's not always one thing. It's not like, oh, you know, you stubbed your foot a certain type of way, now I automatically don't like you. It's a certain things that accumulate over time.
How did you feel in the beginning of your marriage as opposed to the end of it?
I feel like I changed, he changed, we both grew so much, and we both respect each other so much at the end of the relationship and the beginning of a relationship.
So there wasn't animosity or cheating or arguments and toxicity?
Nothing.
It was a perfect marriage.
It was a perfect marriage to the end. And it was such a great, like even the breakup was so great, honestly.
So in your position, would you ever get married again?
100%, absolutely.
Dudes in the comments are roasting her. Somebody said 54. 54 at least. Another dude said that's the roughest 34 I've ever seen. Well, I mean, what do I need to say?
How many women would not, if you be like, I'm going to give you 1.5 million? How many women
I don't know.
Plenty of women. When you're putting, it's Skip Bayless. It ain't like you saying
Plenty
like
of women ain't turning down 1.5. You just sat here and said
like you
they got a
would turn
job.
down 1.5. You be putting that shit on women a lot. When we had that same conversation when you tried to convince me that I would LeBron because he would pay me. Not everybody values the same things that you
1.5?
value.
A lot of women ain't turning down 1.5
A
million
lot
dollars.
of a lot of women will.
Right there.
A lot of women won't, but a lot of women will.
Let's not even make it
Let's not even make it a gender thing. If
y'all just told me she kept the job because she had bills to pay. She's a hair. How much you think she's making a year being a hairstylist?
She probably does well for herself. She's been at
How
FS1.
much do you think she's making a year being a hairstylist?
Keeping a job while you're being sexually harassed to pay your bills versus 1.5 are two completely different things.
Yes, they are. So I'm saying, you think that a woman that is saying, I want to keep my job, so I'm going to be quiet about being harassed at work, you think that her turning down 1.5 is not crazy? That's crazy for a woman to turn. I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm just saying that's shocking. Like, damn, she told Skip, nah, like I'm cool on the 1.5. That's a lot of money for just to be full white dude.
Okay, let's
not act like that's crazy.
It is. It is
1.5 million. He'd be like, yo, I'm sending the wire in the morning. Oh no, I'll send it right now.
But if that's the case, she would just go be an escort if she wanted to that amount of money. That obviously that's not what she went into. Obviously, she likes her job.
I get that part. I'm just saying I don't know many women that would say to 1.5 just a fun night. It's not a lot of women turning that down. Let's just keep it real in 2025, man.
Okay.
A lot of women is not turning down 1.5
I'm
million.
not saying that, but clearly there are some because she turned it down.
Oh, of course. I'm not saying all women is taking it. I'm saying that's just, if a woman be like, yo, how much you offer? 1.5. Best believe her homegirl started another group chat like, I don't know, I might have took that. It's another group chat on her phone that she's not in where her girls is having that conversation like 1.5.
Not everybody willing to sell their soul for money, Mom.
Everybody got a price.
There's a comment that said, I got some one time for a black and mild and a salad from Jason's Deli.
Has there been a shift in men the last few years, or are we all just like more aware? I'm in my early 20s. A lot of my friends are like gorgeous girls in their early 20s. Like, women just don't really like men anymore. Speaking from like personal experience, like I haven't dated in like 2 years. No man interests me. Every girl I talk to feels the same way. Like if I meet a girl and she's single, she's like, yeah, I don't really date because like I don't really care. I know that we say that like women can, but like men genuinely women, and like it's not a joke. Women think the most are the ones that they're supposed to love. So like, ew. But I feel like you see way more now, like girls in their 20s, later 20s that like have never had a boyfriend. Like, is it just me? Because that's how I feel.
Well, I looked at her page. Typical. The girls are going out. We look hot, looking to flirt, want a man to buy me things, yada, 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 that sort of thing. There's not going to be a lot of men out there wasting time, which is exactly what you're doing. So that's what the shift is. Men not wanting to waste their time, their energy, money, and resources.
There is never an excuse to let a guy treat you poorly if he's not smoking hot. Like, if he's smoking hot, who cares? Yeah, just make sure he's smoking hot.
Makes total sense. Thanks.
Literally, at this point, walking around with a pregnant belly with no rock on my finger is just giving ghetto. And I just don't belong, okay? Take me out, take me away. It's giving, I was good enough for a baby, but I wasn't good enough for a fat rock on my finger. And I just don't love it here. So don't invite me to the party.
So you're upset that men aren't hopping at the chance to date you when you're walking around pregnant.